Morning. Is my screen visible to all of you? What is that we were discussing in the last class? Was the topic that we were discussing in the last class? Pramila, Savitri, Mubashir. Just now you three were admitted. I repeatedly was insisting you all to join within time, but still you're joining after the time. I don't know what problem you have. Do you have any problem? You respond to me. You speak now. First, Mubashir, what is your problem? See, and some more people, you're joining and you're not staying in the class. At the end of the class, when I asked everyone to text your roll numbers, you're not even aware of that announcement made at the end of the class. So you're staying back in the class and you're not responding with your attendance, even though you're staying back in the classroom. You're not given attendance because you're not texting your roll number. So that is how some people are losing some attendance. It happened with Arbaz once, Mubashir. Many times it happened with Mubashir also, and even Yuva also initially. But now Yuva is not joining. I think it happened even with Yuva also. See, if you have net problem, why don't you join it when I immediately share the screen, share the link with the group? Must click on that link and immediately first join. Later, and text your roll number. And later, if it is not, if you are unable to join, I don't have any objection there. But the problem for me is only when you come in time. When I'm about to start the class, if you keep on clicking on the link and trying to join at that time, so I'll be disturbed with the class. Not just you're not just disturbing me, you're disturbing the entire class. Why don't you understand this problem? Think from my end also. Just don't be so selfish and narrow-minded. Think from our end also. Follow the instructions clearly. What I'm saying. Why you're taking things for granted? సార్ అలాగే చెప్తాడులే మనం జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు లాస్ట్ మినిట్ లో జాయిన్ అవుదాంలే ఏంది యూఆర్ ఇన్ థర్డ్ ఇయర్ నౌ యూఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్ సెకండ్ ఇయర్ హ్యావ్ సమ్ మెచ్యూరిటీ అట్లీస్ట్ నౌ don't compel me to scold you even in these online classes also. I'm feeling very bad with this situation. You need to have a lot of concentration to present a topic in front of so many people, and we are losing our concentration. You are continuously disturbing. If it is an offline class, I will not allow, I will not uh, bother because simply I can wave my hand and you'll get into the class. You need not even ask me, excuse me, sir, and disturb me. But this is not the case with online classes. And the task that is given to you also, you're not trying to watch the YouTube videos. If you're missing a video, you just join the class, text your roll number, and in middle if you have any network problem, even if you're leaving the class, I don't have any objection, but you can watch it later on YouTube. You'll get the content, subject content, you'll definitely get it on YouTube, on my channel. But attendance you're not going to get. Think from this point also. So just 50, at least half an hour before I'm sharing the link in the WhatsApp group. We have a class prior to my class. If, for example, today you have 9:30 to 10:30 on another class, computer networks class, and between that class and this class, you have 15 minutes gap. Soon after you exit that class, why don't you click on this link and immediately join the class and text your roll number, and then you take, meanwhile in 10 minutes you want to have some breakfast or you want to go for any other activities, you do it and then come back and join the class. If you're, even if you're missing for 5 to 10 minutes, I don't have any objection, you can watch it later on YouTube. That's the reason why I'm spending more time for you. Again, I have to see that the video is telecasted, is made live on YouTube, so that it will be available for you. Every activity I have to look after, and at the same time, if you keep on coming into the class again and again, then I can't do anything. It is completely disturbing. You don't understand the ground reality of a person who is hosting a live meeting. I'm the host here. You're just a participant, so you don't have any problem. You will simply click on the link and sit. But I have to keep on admitting you. I have to look after other activities also at the same time. అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి ఒక్కసారి చెప్తే మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ అదే రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నారు. రాధిక, యూ వర్ రెగ్యులర్లీ లేట్ టు జాయిన్ ద క్లాస్. గూగుల్ మీట్ లో ఉన్న డ్రాబ్యాక్ ఇదే అని చెప్తున్నా. వేరే అదర్ దాంట్లో అయితే ఒకేసారి 10 మెంబర్స్ ని అడ్మిట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఎంతమంది వస్తే అంతమంది సింగిల్ క్లిక్ తో అడ్మిట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ ఈవెన్ ఐ కెన్ లాక్ ద మీటింగ్ ఆల్సో, సో దట్ నో బడీ విల్ ట్రై టు జాయిన్. బట్ వీ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ దట్ ఆప్షన్స్ ఇన్ గూగుల్ మీట్. It is causing a lot of disturbance to me, and this is the last and final warning I'm giving to each and every one in the section. From tomorrow onwards, I'm going to be very strict. Or else I'll completely change this application and use a different application, so that I don't get any problem like this. I'll answer to my HOD and all those things because of this. Yeah, we'll discuss definitely about this one. I'm not going to give you attendance if you don't join in the beginning and come in the middle. When we were discussing about div tags in the last class, so I want to wind up this CSS by today's class. So please cooperate with me. See, look at this program. This program's output is just before I was showing you, right? This is the output of this program. The background image is displayed, and that image keeps, it will be still there even though you scroll the uh, your web page vertically like this. The position of that background image doesn't change. So for which tag I have given this background image means for the body tag. I use the background image for the body tag. I didn't use it for any other thing. So let me discuss about this, how to make a image as the background and then make it stay fixed at a position. So for the body tag, I'm creating a selector here. So what type of selector is this one? It is an element selector, because the name of the selector is matching exactly with the name of a tag in your HTML page. So this is a element selector. So what are the properties and their values I use for this selector? Look at them. So first one is background image. So if you want to put a background image for any tag in anything, if you want to use it for a table tag also, you can use it. If you want to use for the entire HTML web page, you have to use it with body tag. And if you want to create a division, and for that division, if you want to use a background image, I have already shown you the last class, right? Uh, So now I'm using this background image for the entire body. So in the same folder where my HTML program is available, in the same folder I have this image called teacher.jpg, right? So how to place that? You have to put it in URL. Within the parentheses, you have to mention the name of the file along with its extension within the double quotes. So this is how you place a background image, and we have already seen this in the previous class. Now this property also we have already seen, background repeat, no repeat, right? Then background position, I kept it center. So center, you know what is the meaning of center? So it will be exactly at the center in horizontal direction as well as in the vertical direction. It will be exactly in the at the center of your web page. If you consider the web page as a rectangular box, so it will be exactly center, equidistant from parallel sides. From left border, it will be the distance at which it is laid is same as the distance at which it is laid from the right border. Similarly, top border and the bottom border also will have same distance with this image. So that is the meaning of center. So how to put that, how to use that position as center means uh, by using this property called background position property. Then look at the next one. This property we didn't use it in the previous program. So this property name is background attachment. Background attachment. So if you use this property and use its value as fixed, use its value as fixed, then your image will stay fixed like this. If I don't use this fixed here, say for example, I'm removing it here now, and I'll refresh this page. So now look at the page. The image is moving as I scroll the web page, right? So the image should not scroll. So for that, what I have to do? I have to use the background position, attachment position as fixed. Let me create as another program. Use a new program. I'll remove all those ordered lists so that the background image will be visible to you. But my image is not available there, right? So that's why the image is not displayed. So let me copy that image and put it here. Copy another image of that. Look at this image. It is exactly at the center. But when I try to scroll this page, nothing will happen. Why I am unable to scroll the page? Because there is no as much content that so that I can scroll the page to the bottom or at the top. Look at this page. There are many things, right? We have created unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these things. And under these headings, 5 different unit headings, we have various topics also displayed using unordered lists, right? So this complete content that we displayed in this page is occupying more than the actual height of the screen that we have. So what will happen? A scroll bar will appear automatically, a vertical scroll bar, so that you can scroll it. And only when you can scroll that page, then only you can see the effect that we use in our program. So what is that effect we have used? Background attachment is fixed. But in this program, just which now I copy pasted into another one, I created a new file. So there you are unable to do that. You are unable to notice that the background image is remaining fixed at a particular position because there is no vertical scroll bar and even no horizontal scroll bar also available. So if you have that scroll bar, then you keep scrolling the page, then you will notice that background image is being fixed there, available at a fixed position, right? So, but here you can notice that because I removed background image, background attachment as fixed. So this is changing. But if I remove that and now if I save that program again back with that fixed position for this one, I refresh the page. So now you see the image is being displayed at a fixed position. Okay. So this is how you have to use uh, background attachment property to see that the image that you displayed remains fixed even though your web page contains a lot of content, so that you have to scroll the page horizontally as well as vertically, but you want that image to remain as it is at the background, so then you have to use this property. Okay. And one more thing, so the next thing is related to table. So we were thinking of discussing about this table and anchor tags also today, right? So for table, see, look at the table how I created. I've used a background color sea green. So if you have observed, you can see this is the table. This is a background color sea green, and the text is displayed in white color. Unit 1 topics. Under Unit 1, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Roman numbers, and under topics, you have HTML and CSS, XML and Ajax, PHP, Java servlets, Java server pages. Right? So this is your table. So for this table, what is the uh, CSS style that I created is background color I have given sea green color. So you have noticed that. And margin I have given 5 pixel, padding 2 pixel, color is text color is white, and border collapse is collapse. So what is the meaning of this three attributes? You know about this background color and foreground color, simply color. But what about these two, margin padding and this third one, border collapse? So first let me tell you about margin whose value is 5 pixel. Actually, you have four different types of margins: margin hyphen top, margin left, margin right, margin bottom, right? So you can have a different property like this: margin left, similarly margin right also you can have, then margin top you can have, and margin bottom also you have. So these four properties are actually available. We can use them separately like this, or altogether we can use a single margin property like this. So what is the difference between directly using a margin property and using individually margin top, margin left, margin right, margin bottom and all? If you use this margin property, 5 pixels of margin will be placed around surrounding the tag which you are using. So what is the tag for which I'm creating this margin now? Table tag, right? So surrounding the tab, surrounding the table on all four sides. 5 pixels of margin will be left. So if you are able to notice, you can notice some 5 pixels of margin left on the left side of this table. So the same 5 pixel above the table, and you will have below the table and on the right side of the table. 5 pixels of margin will be left. You will not be able to notice that one. Right? So if I increase this margin to say 10 pixel, now I'll refresh this page. So a small change has occurred now. You are able to see a little bit more margin left on the top as well as on the left and on the right. You will not able to notice on the right and at the bottom because their margins are different. Because the below table you have another unit one heading. For that you also we have used margin. So this includes margin for both top margin for unit one and bottom margin for this table, right? But on the left side and at the top, you are able to notice the exact amount of margin that we are leaving. So if you want to give margin on all four sides, the same margin you want to give, then use this margin property. If you want to give a different property, then also you can mention all the four properties like this: 10, 5 pixel for and 3 pixel like this, and then say 2 pixel like this also can specify. So this will be top margin and this will be right margin, this will be bottom margin and this will be left margin. So this will work in clockwise direction. From the top, then it goes to right, then left, and then uh, then right, bottom, and then left. Right. So you can give this margin either in this way with four different values, each value separated by some white space. Don't use commas, right? Because you are habituated to using commas there in most of the programming languages. So don't try to use comma here. You need to give a white space between four different values. Okay. Or else you can also choose individually by using individually a separate margin top, margin left, margin right, margin bottom, like this individual properties also you can use, right? But I choose to use only this property because with the single property I can set the values for all the four sides of a HTML tag, right? I'm giving 5 pixel here. So this is margin. And coming to padding, padding is nothing but the amount of space that must be left between the borders of the table or the table cell and the content that is displayed inside the table cell. Okay, so if you don't mention this padding, then by default it will be 0. So you notice that the text that you display inside the cell of a table will be exactly leaning towards or it will be adjoining to the border of the table cell. Both will be touching each other, right? So instead of that, if you want to give some space between all the four borders of that table cell, then you have to use this padding property. So the more you give padding, the more amount of space will be left between the walls of that table cell and the content of the table cell. Okay. So if I give 5, then the 5 pixels will of space will be left on all four uh, borders of the table cell. Right. This is also used in the same way as margin is used. You can use or you can specify different values for four sides: 5 pixel, 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 30 pixel, like that. You can specify by giving space between each of the value, or you can use it with a single value on all the four sides like this. Okay, and this is padding, and you know about color, and this is border collapse. So border collapse, what is the purpose of this border collapse is now all the borders will be collapsed. There will not be any borders. You will be noticing the borders are removed, the table, right? So if I don't use this collapse property here, collapse property value here, let me refresh this page. So now there are borders for this page, but we didn't mention the border size. So that's why border size is displayed, right? So if I specify border here, 1 pixel like this, this is not working. I've given 0 here, so that's the reason it is not working. Now you're able to see the borders, right? So because I didn't use border collapse property, so you'll be noticing the borders even for the table cells also. So for the first cell, there is a border on top, left, right, bottom, and even for second cell also, you are noticing that border for all the cells. How many rows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows are there. 2 columns are there. 6 to the 12 cells are there completely in this table. So each cell is having its own border, right? So if you don't want that border, cell borders, then you have to use border collapse property and mention here collapse. And now you are able to see the borders, but the borders are drawn commonly for all the cells. They are not created separately for each and every individual cell. Instead, both the adjoining cells will have a common border. Because border color, I think it is mentioned in different. So that's the reason why you're getting that. Let me remove this sea green border, sea green color background, show you the difference. So now you are able to see the difference. The table board, look at the table borders, how they are. Now they are looking attractive. Right? If I don't use this collapse property, so notice how the table cells look like. Each individual cell is having its own border like this, right? They have a separate exclusive borders for each cell. But when I say collapse here, the borders are drawn commonly, right? And why the content in the table is not being displayed? Because for this text we have given white, and background color by default is also taken as white color. So that is the reason why the content in the table is not being displayed. So now let me make it back to sea green. Then you'll notice the text. Okay, so this is how you can use tables, CSS for tables. You can explore a lot of other properties for every tag on Google. w3schools.com అనే site ఉంది. You can go into that site and check different properties and use and apply them for different tags. Fine. So now let us go to using anchor tags. Using anchor tags. Let me show that in this page here. So let me create a let me remove this table. I'll remove this table and all. We'll keep a heading anchor tag. Let me remove this style for list items, unordered list, table, because we are not going to use them unnecessarily. Even background image also I'm not going to use. Okay. So now let me create anchor tags here, href. I'm not going to give any values for this href attributes because uh, we are not focusing on what page must be opened by clicking on this thing, but how to use CSS to make these links look attractive. I'm going to give home here, about us here. Okay. For anchor tag, I'm going to create factors. Okay, this is how I want to create 5 different anchor tags. So let me refresh the page. So you're able to see all the anchor tags, how they are displayed, how the links are displayed: home, about us, products, services, contact us, all these things, how they are displayed. They are displayed as a hyperlinks, and whenever you place the mouse cursor, the hand symbol will appear on them, and an underscore symbol also is there, right? Fine. So how to change these uh, anchor tags? By first removing the underlines. So let me first remove the underlines for this. I'll use an anchor tag A, create the properties for anchor tag. But to remove that underline, you have a property called text decoration property. So this must be set to none. If you do this, refresh the page now. So now you can see the underlines are removed, but when you place the cursor, still the hand symbol will appear, indicating that this is a hyperlink. When you click on them, nothing will happen. Right? So now this anchor tag must be displayed in 4 different ways. We must discuss about this anchor tag and its CSS properties in 4 different contexts. Why? Because this anchor tag will have 4 different states, right? So when it is created and displayed on the screen, simply we'll say that this is a link. Simply we'll say that this is a link. And when you place a mouse cursor on that link, we say that mouse is hovered on it. Mouse is hovered on it. Hover. Hover. Okay. And when you click on that link, we say that the link is in an active state. And you can notice that the color of that link changes to red color when you press the mouse button. And when you release it, then it will come back to the normal color, that is its blue color, right? So this will, in this way, uh, an anchor tag will be in 4 different states. Let me tell all what are those 4 different states. Simply a link state, then hover state, and then after that you have active state, then visited state. You have 4 different states you'll have for these links. When do you say the hyperlink is visited? By clicking on it. If you are visited to that page which is linked to this hyperlink, you come back to this page again. Then you say this link has been visited. Okay. So if it is not visited, then it will be in a different color. So now, for example, if you give any values for this hrefs tags, right? Any values for this hrefs tags. So let me use any page, my existing pages. So I'll use a div page. So I'll give div dot html as value for this tag. So now when I click on this, I'll go to that div dot html, and when I come back to this page, again I'll get these links. Now we say this home hyperlink is visited, but the remaining links are not yet visited, right? So if I click on this again, this also will be considered as visited, right? So in that way, you have 4 different stages or states, you can say, for this anchor tag. So if you want to use different style for different states of this anchor tag, then for that you have to use a colon, first link you have to use, right? And then a colon over you have to use, A colon active, then A colon visited. So for all these, you have to give the text declaration none. Okay. And now we can give different background color for different dates. I'll give red color for this one. For this one, blue color I'm going to give. This one, a yellow color I'm going to give. This one I'm going to give a orange color. I'm going to give. I'll give green color. Why they are appearing in green color? Because all these links have been visited. Right? When you hover the mouse cursor, it has to be displayed with background color blue. When you click on this link, uh, the text color is changing. There must be some order you must follow. Let me show that order for you. A visitor must come after a link, then we hover and yeah. Now, so when I place the mouse cursor on these links, they are appearing in a blue color, right? So this is hovering. So when I place a cursor on that particular link, what is that operation called as? It is called as hover. So what must be the background color for hovering? What must be the background color when you click on that link? See, when I click on that link, what is the background color? It is yellow color. And after it has been clicked, it will come back to a background orange color. You'll not be able to notice that uh, active state, sorry, visited state, but the remaining effects you will be able to notice. And when you're giving for all these four different states, you have to follow this order. Earlier we didn't follow that order, so that's why we were unable to notice the difference. First, you need to write the properties for a link, and second, you need to write the properties for a visited, and then after that you have to write for hover, and then finally for active state. If you want to combine, you can combine these two together, like I did in this program. See, both a link and a visited are combined together. After a link, I have given a comma here, and then a visited, right? Then similarly, I have combined a hover and a active. So you can combine these two things, a hover and a active, you can combine a link and a visited, right? Please, please, um, your audio. Somebody is speaking. Ritika, right? So you need to follow this order definitely. If you don't follow this order and write the properties, the style for all these four different states in a different order. As I mentioned here, you have to follow this order. If you don't follow this order, you will not notice the effects. Okay. So first thing you have to remember, you have to follow this order. If at all, if you are giving separately for all the different four states, then a link must appear first, then after that a visited, then after that a hover, and then after that a active. Okay. So and you can give different styles for different state. If you want to combine, you can combine both these two, a link and a visited. You cannot combine a link with a hover or a active, right? Similarly, you cannot combine a visited with a hover and a active. You can combine these two, but you cannot combine this one. If you want to give same style for all the four different states, then no need of using this colon link. Simply directly give a, then apply that style. Then that style will be applied for all the four different states. Okay, so don't combine a link with any of these two states. Do not combine these two states individually with any of these two states each other. Don't combine first two states with second two states. That means first state with third state cannot be combined. Similarly, first state cannot be combined with the fourth state. Similarly, second state also cannot be combined with third or fourth state. Okay, you can combine first state two states together, and you can combine third and fourth state together, but you cannot combine any of the first two states with any of the next two states. Okay, if you want to have a common style for all the anchor tags, then you can do that by writing simply only anchor tag. When you want to give a separate style for exclusive style for different states, then after mentioning the anchor tag name a, give a colon symbol and then followed by the state of that anchor tag. So what state, how many states you have? Four different states, right? So first you have to give link, then you have to give visited, then you have to give hover, and then you have to give active. Okay, so this is how you can use anchor tags. and there are many other properties. There are many other properties that you can use with anchor tag. So I'm just telling you the important things, that is text decoration, which is used to remove the underline, the background color I'm giving. If you want, you can use padding properties. You can use border, right? You can use a border for these tags also. So let me show you. I'll give border here, border 1 pixel, solid. I give uh, tomato color. I don't know whether you're able to notice that. Now you are able to find the borders for all the. I think you are unable to notice because of the background color. There will be a border here. If I give more amount of border, so I'll give 10 pixels border. Then you see you're getting that much amount of border. Both the colors are mixed together, so that's the reason why. We'll remove this color. Give something, say, because of that color combination, you are unable to notice the difference. A link, a visited, behavior, a active. Press on it. Yes, okay. Now you are able to notice. So don't use these colors exactly when you're creating a real-time application of your own, because they look awkward. I'm using them only so that they'll be visible to you on the video, and you will be able to notice the difference. Fine. So you can give borders also like this, but borders are not suggested because they will make a little bit these anchor tags look a bit ugly. Better not to use borders. Let me show you example. You are able to see I've used CSS for all these things. Look at how the radio buttons are looking a little bit attractive, and the submit buttons, say, look at how they are appearing with the background navy blue color and foreground white color. And even this heading also is having a complete stretch of background color with navy blue color. And then look at the drop downs, how they are looking a bit attractive now, right? So I hope you will master in this CSS and create that styling. The rest of the thing I'm leaving it for your end, because the basic things I told you, this is all extra I'm teaching you actually. I'm supposed to teach you how to use selectors, how to create selectors, how many types of selectors are there, how many uh, types of stylings are there, inline styling, internal styling, external styling, all these things. Okay. Other than that, I should not teach all these things, but I taught you how to create divisions also, because we are going to use it somewhere in a real-time application creation. So that is the reason why I taught all these things. Fine. So now I'm giving a task for you. The task is choose an application, a real-time application that you want to create. Later you're going to learn PHP, servlets, and JSP, right? So choose any complete uh, application, and you can use that application that you develop now as your mini project also. By the time you complete this semester, you should have a project in your hands, either done in PHP, servlets, or JSP, or all three. So you can create that same project once using PHP, once using servlets, and once using JSP. So when you do that way, when you create a project in that way, then you'll know how to use all these technologies in a single application, and that will give you a complete comprehensive knowledge on all the technologies that you're going to learn in this subject. Unless you use them in a practical uh, application, that is by creating a project, you'll not learn the complete concepts in a comprehensive manner. So please, I request all of you, by tomorrow you can form as groups if you want. If you feel that you cannot do that alone, form as groups, 1 or 2 members together, or 3 members also together, not more than 3 members. 3 members together, you can form as a batch, and let me know who is going to group with whom by tomorrow, and decide and tell me, and choose an application. You can choose the same application also. If you don't bother about whether this application has been created by someone else earlier or not, because we are not going to create a very innovative application in the sense which nobody else have created earlier, right? But if you want to create an application which is innovative, first you need to know how to create an application well. Then only you can think of that innovativeness, right? So whatever it is, whether it is an innovative application or a existing application. What do you mean by innovative application? For example, uh, there is a e-commerce web application, for example Flipkart or Amazon. Already they are there, right? So if you create a similar kind of application now again on your own, we don't call that it is an innovative application. When do you call it as an innovative application? If you create something, at least some features, if not all the features, which are not existing in any other applications that were created earlier, then we can say that it is an innovative feature. Or if the application itself is completely new, then we can say that it is a innovative application. Don't try to create any application which does not exist now, because you are not going to do any business now. You are just a learner. So as a learner, as a beginner and as a learner, when you want to create some applications, you should not bother about creating a new application. You can create an existing application. You choose any application which is already existing, but somebody else have created it, you didn't create it, right? So you don't know to create such kind of applications. So first learn how to create such kind of applications and master it first, and then later you can try creating a innovative application. So let us take it in a two-step way process. Don't try to create a innovative application at a single go. So first learn how to create an application, then you'll know the practical difficulties in creating that application, and you'll get also solutions for that, how to overcome that problem. And once you know this, then you can go for creating a innovative application. So you choose any application. You can choose a Facebook kind of an application, a Gmail kind of an application, an e-commerce application like Amazon or Flipkart, or any other application, right? Which will have a registration page, and you can register and get your user ID and password, and then later you can log in with that user ID and password and do some operations in that application. So choose such kind of a application. So now that you have completed HTML and CSS, you can start designing the user interface for that application that you have chosen, right? And once you complete this UI design, then you're going to start now. Anyhow, I'm going to start from tomorrow JavaScript. So once you start JavaScript, then you'll also know how to validate your application also. So with that knowledge, you try to validate your application that you're choosing tomorrow. And then later you're going to learn PHP. Then with that PHP, you'll know how to uh, register and log in you into a database. That means you can register with a new email ID and password, and then log in with the same user ID and password by interacting with the database on your server. So anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do all those things, right? So choose an application now itself. Three students together, you form a batch. Okay. So I want everyone to uh, form as batches by tomorrow morning. In the first hour, I have a class, right? So within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to ask about this, discuss about these batches. So think of it by today evening, today night, and tell me about the batches. I want the list of all the batches. Everyone must be involved. I don't want anyone to be left over. If you're not interested in joining into a batch of 2 or 3 members, you can do it individually also, right? So, so that when you complete this application, you will have complete knowledge on all the technologies that you have in this subject. So that will give you a lot of benefit to you. You can use it in your resume. What is the problem with your final year students is now your seniors are going to attend some placement drives. So from the beginning of 4-1, you're going to attend placement drives. So by the time you attend a placement drive, in your resume, you must have a project already completed. So if you have a project that is already completed, that will be an advantage to you in the interview. Right? So definitely an interviewer, when you're going for an interview, they'll ask you about what applications you have created. That is what project you have done. But unfortunately, what is happening is nobody is completing their project by the time they go for an interview. So they are lacking that practical knowledge and they are unable to answer well in the interviews. So because you are having this subject ability in first semester of third year, it is an advantage for you. Earlier it was in third year second semester, but now it is in third year first semester. Your seniors have learned it in the previous semester. So those who are in 4-1 now, they just learned this in the previous semester when you were learning Java in 2-2. They were learning this web technology subject in their third year second semester, right? So they don't have time to do a project. Now you are having it in 3-1. So you have 3-2 also later. So after 3-2 only you're going to have an interviews, right? So now itself you try to complete the application, and again after the next semester commences, you will be busy with that subject concepts. So you'll not have time to work on this one. So now you have the subject in the semester as part of your academics. So it is better to complete an application development in this semester only. So take this as an advantage and complete at least 2 to 3 projects in using any of the two technologies, PHP servlets or PHP JSP. Any of these two you choose. Complete at least 2 projects and put it in your resumes, so that will give a lot of advantage to you in the interviews. But to go to an interview, first of all, you must clear your written test, right? So this will give you a benefit once you clear the first round, that is written test. So it will not give you any benefit in the written test. For written test, you need to practice all those reasoning and analytical thinking, all these things you have, right? Analytical thinking and reasoning. So both these things you need to possess good skills in these two areas. Then you can clear the written test. Then once you clear the written test in the technical round, then you will have an advantage of this one. So you'll know about Java, you'll know about JavaScript, you'll know about database, know about HTML and all these things, right? So you'll be able to explain your project very well because you have done it on your own. But when you don't do it on your own, somebody else have done it, and then you just copy pasted or you have bought it from somebody from an institute at Amirpet or somewhere else, and come and go for an interview. When the question is asked in the interview, you'll not be able to answer the questions properly, and he will be able to understand that very easily that you have not done the project, even though you lie to them that no sir, I have done this on my own. He will be able to notice, right? You need not say the truth to them, but they'll recognize it with the help of the answers that you give to them, right? Uh, so please don't neglect. By tomorrow, I want batches formed. Either one student can do a project, or two or three, maximum three, not more than three. I don't allow four members to form a group. I'll allow only up to maximum three, and this is mandatory, and I'm going to consider this for your internal marks. Understand? Now you can text your roll numbers and leave the class.